Have you ever walked past a door and wondered what secrets lie behind it? What if I told you that behind the most ordinary-looking doors in this city, there are worlds you never imagined existed, places where reality bends, where the impossible becomes possible, and where everyday people are living extraordinary lives that nobody talks about? Today, I'm taking you on a journey through doors that most people pass by without a second glance, but what we discovered behind them will shock you, inspire you, and completely change the way you see your own neighborhood. From underground communities to hidden businesses, from secret gatherings to spaces that defy explanation, each door we open reveals something more incredible than the last. I spent months investigating, knocking, and gaining access to places that most people don't even know exist. Some doors required special permission, others needed a secret knock, and a few almost got me in serious trouble. But every single one was worth it because what I found will blow your mind. Before we dive in, I need to know something from you. Right now, pause this video and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching this from. Are you in New York, Tokyo, São Paulo, London, Lagos? I want to know where my audience is because what I'm about to show you exists in your city too. You just need to know where to look. So comment your city name right now and let's build a global community of door seekers together. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your city the same way again. You'll start noticing the doors, you'll start wondering, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start knocking. So buckle up, because we're about to enter places that will change everything you thought you knew. Cities are full of secrets. Every street corner, every building, every unmarked entrance holds the potential for discovery. But in our fast-paced lives, we rush past these mysteries without ever stopping to wonder what lies beyond the surface. We see doors as simple barriers, entry points to expected spaces. An apartment building door leads to apartments. An office door leads to offices. A restaurant door leads to dining. Or so we think. What if I told you that assumption is exactly what keeps the most incredible places hidden in plain sight? What if the real magic of urban life exists in the spaces we're not supposed to see, in the rooms we're not invited into, behind the doors we never think to open? My name is on a mission, and for the past 6 months, I've been obsessed with a single question. What's really happening behind the closed doors of our cities? Not the obvious places, not the tourist attractions, not the well-known venues. I'm talking about the mysterious doors, the unmarked entrances, the places that don't advertise, the spaces that require you to know someone who knows someone. This journey started accidentally. 3 months ago, I was walking through a neighborhood I'd passed through 100 times before. Nothing special about it, just ordinary buildings, regular storefronts, the kind of street you'd forget the moment you turned the corner. But this time, something caught my eye. A door, just a plain gray door wedged between a laundromat and a convenience store. No sign, no handle on the outside, no indication of what might be inside. But there was something about it, a feeling, an energy. I stood there for 10 minutes just staring at that door, while people walked past me like I was invisible. And then, as if the universe was answering my curiosity, the door opened. A woman stepped out, and in that brief moment before it closed, I caught a glimpse of what was inside, and what I saw made absolutely no sense. It looked like a forest, an actual forest with trees and soft lighting, right in the middle of a concrete urban landscape. That moment changed everything. I became obsessed. I started researching, asking questions, following leads. I discovered that cities are honeycombed with hidden spaces, secret communities, underground networks of people doing extraordinary things away from the public eye. Some of these places have existed for decades, passed down through word of mouth, protected by communities who value their privacy. Others are new, experimental, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in urban environments. I made it my mission to find these doors and document what's behind them. Not to expose anyone's privacy or ruin their sanctuaries, but to show the world that magic still exists, that wonder is everywhere if you're willing to look for it, and that the most ordinary streets hide the most extraordinary secrets. What you're about to see is the result of months of investigation, countless conversations, earned trust, and a few risky decisions. I've been granted access to 7 different locations, 7 different doors, each one revealing a completely different hidden world. Some will make you laugh, others will make you think, and a few might even inspire you to start your own journey of urban exploration. But I need to be clear about something. This isn't just entertainment. This is a reminder that there's more to life than what we see on our screens, more to our cities than what Google Maps shows us, more to human creativity and community than we give ourselves credit for. Behind these doors are people who refuse to accept the ordinary, who created their own extraordinary, who built secret worlds because they believed something different was possible. So as we embark on this journey together, I want you to keep an open mind. Some of what you'll see might seem impossible. Some might seem too good to be true. But I promise you, everything in this video is real, documented, and accessible if you know where to look and how to ask. Are you ready? Because once we open these doors, there's no going back. Your city will never look the same. You'll start seeing doors everywhere, wondering, questioning, seeking. And that's exactly the point. Let's begin with the first door. The one that started it all. The gray door that opened into impossibility. The gray door is located on Morrison Street, squeezed between businesses that have been there for 20 years. Nobody notices it because it's designed not to be noticed. No signage, no windows, just weathered paint and a keypad that looks like it hasn't worked in years. But it does work, and after weeks of investigation, I finally got the code. My hand trembled as I entered the numbers. 4 beeps, a click, and the door opened inward. The smell hit me first. Rich earth and living plants completely out of place in the urban landscape. I stepped inside and the door closed behind me, cutting off the street noise instantly. Before me stretched a narrow corridor lined with living walls, actual plants growing vertically, creating a tunnel of green that glowed with soft natural lighting. I walked forward, my footsteps muffled by moss growing on parts of the floor. The corridor opened into a larger space, and what I saw took my breath away. It was a forest. Not a greenhouse, not a garden, but an actual miniature forest ecosystem. Trees reached toward a ceiling painted to look like sky, complete with moving cloud projections. A small stream ran through the center, its water crystal clear, babbling over smooth stones. Birds, real birds, flitted between branches. The temperature was perfect, the humidity balanced, the light natural despite being underground. I later learned this space was created 15 years ago by a collective of environmental scientists and artists. They purchased the abandoned basement of the building above, spent 2 years converting it, and have maintained it ever since as a sanctuary from urban life. Membership is by invitation only, passed through personal connections, never advertised. They host meditation sessions, ecological workshops, and simply provide a space for people to reconnect with nature without leaving the city. The woman who granted me access, Dr. Sarah Chen, explained their philosophy. Cities make us forget we're biological beings. We need nature not as a luxury but as a necessity. This forest reminds people what we're missing, what we're destroying, and what we could create instead. I spent 3 hours in that forest, and when I finally emerged back onto Morrison Street, the concrete jungle felt alien and harsh. The gray door closed behind me, and I stood there, blinking in the harsh sunlight, wondering how many people had walked past that door without ever knowing paradise existed just beyond it. But this was just the beginning. The urban forest taught me an important lesson. The most extraordinary places hide behind the most ordinary facades. And the next door I discovered proved that lesson in an entirely different, completely unexpected way. What I found behind door number 2 involved music, memory, and a community preserving something the world has forgotten. Door number 2 is red, located in the industrial district where warehouses are being converted into trendy lofts. But this particular door, tucked into an alley behind a mechanic's shop, leads somewhere the developers haven't discovered yet. The key was literal this time, an old brass key I borrowed from a collector I met at a vintage market. The door opened stiffly, its hinges protesting, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. I flicked on my flashlight and descended carefully, the temperature dropping with each step. At the bottom, another door, this one with frosted glass and the faint sound of music filtering through. I knocked, a pattern I'd been instructed to use. 3 quick raps, pause, 2 more. The door opened, and I entered what I can only describe as a cathedral dedicated to recorded music. The space was enormous, a converted basement that must have extended under multiple buildings. Floor-to-ceiling shelves lined every wall, each one packed with vinyl records. Not hundreds, not thousands, but what I later learned was over 500,000 records, carefully cataloged and preserved. The lighting was warm and dim, coming from vintage lamps positioned throughout the space. Comfortable chairs and couches created listening stations, each equipped with high-end turntables and headphones. About 20 people were scattered throughout the space, some browsing, others sitting with their eyes closed, completely absorbed in whatever music they were experiencing. The curator, a man in his 70s named Marcus, has been building this collection for 40 years. When streaming took over, people started throwing out their vinyl, he explained, his voice reverent. I couldn't bear to see music history destroyed, so I started collecting. This archive contains recordings you can't find anywhere else, live performances, rare pressings, entire genres that have been forgotten by the digital age. But this wasn't just a collection, it was a community. Members paid modest dues, volunteered to help catalog and preserve records, and most importantly, they listened, really listened. Not background music while scrolling phones, but active, intentional listening. Marcus showed me the sign-up sheets where people reserved listening stations, sometimes planning their visits weeks in advance to experience specific albums in this sacred space. One woman told me she'd been coming here for 5 years. In our world of instant everything, this place teaches patience. You can't skip tracks, you can't shuffle, you have to experience the album as the artist intended. It's changed how I consume all media, how I appreciate art, how I value time. The vinyl cathedral represented something profound: resistance to disposable culture, commitment to preservation, and the creation of ritual and reverence around art. As I climbed back up those stairs, leaving the music behind, I understood that these hidden spaces weren't just physical locations. They were philosophical statements about how we choose to live. But if the forest restored our connection to nature and the cathedral restored our connection to art, the next door opened onto something that challenged our very concept of community. The third door wasn't hidden at all. It was completely visible, part of a condemned school building scheduled for demolition. The windows were boarded up, chain-link fence surrounded the property, and warning signs promised prosecution for trespassing. But 3 nights a week that fence had a convenient gap, and that door had a lock that didn't quite latch. I arrived at 7 p.m. on a Thursday, as instructed, slipping through the fence with a group of others who nodded at me knowingly. We entered through a side door, walked through hallways still decorated with faded student artwork, and descended to the basement level. There, in what used to be the school's workshop classroom, I found something remarkable: a thriving, underground educational community. 40 people filled the space, sitting at salvaged desks and tables, notebooks open, attention focused on a woman teaching calculus on a makeshift whiteboard. This wasn't a formal institution. There were no enrollment forms, no tuition fees, no official credentials. This was learning for learning's sake, organized by volunteers, attended by anyone seeking knowledge. The coordinator, a former teacher named James, explained the origin. When the school closed, the neighborhood lost its community center, its gathering place, its symbol of hope. People, especially young people, had nowhere to go, nothing to aspire to. So some of us decided that just because the official school closed didn't mean learning had to stop. The curriculum was diverse and constantly evolving. One night might feature mathematics, another creative writing, another coding, another financial literacy. Teachers were volunteers from the community, people with knowledge who wanted to share it. Students ranged from teenagers seeking alternatives to their underfunded public schools, to adults pursuing delayed educations, to seniors learning new skills. What struck me most was the energy. In legitimate schools, you often sense obligation and boredom. Here, everyone chose to be present, chose to learn, chose to participate. The questions were deeper, the discussions more passionate, the commitment more genuine. One student, a 19-year-old named Maya, told me, "I dropped out of regular school because it felt like prison. Here I'm learning because I want to, and that makes all the difference." The underground classroom operated in a legal gray area. The building was technically condemned, but demolition kept getting delayed. The organizers knew they might be shut down any day, but they continued anyway, believing that education was too important to wait for official permission or proper facilities. As I left that night, Walking past empty classrooms that once held thousands of students, I thought about how we failed so many people by making education a commodity rather than a right, a chore rather than a joy. The underground classroom proved that learning thrives when it's voluntary, community-driven, and free from bureaucratic constraints. But education wasn't the only thing flourishing in hidden spaces. The next door revealed an entirely different kind of underground economy, one that challenged everything I thought I knew about how society functions. Door 4 was actually a loading dock entrance behind a shopping complex. During business hours, it served legitimate purposes, but after closing time, it became a gateway to an alternative economic system that operated completely outside capitalism. No money, no barter, no transactions, just giving and receiving based on need and abundance. I arrived at 9 p.m. to find the loading area transformed. Tables displayed clothing, electronics, books, household items, food, and handmade crafts. But there were no price tags, no vendors calling out deals, no cash registers. People simply took what they needed and left what they could spare. A sign explained the simple rules. Take only what you need, give what you can, trust the community. This was a gift economy hub, one of several operating in different cities, part of a growing movement rejecting consumer capitalism in favor of communal abundance. The organizer, a woman named Rita, walked me through the philosophy. Our economic system creates artificial scarcity to drive profits, but we have enough for everyone. The problem isn't resources, it's distribution. Here we redistribute based on human need, not market value. I watched a single mother fill a bag with children's clothes her kids had outgrown, then select a winter coat from the racks, tears in her eyes. A college student dropped off textbooks he'd finished using, then picked up a laptop someone else had donated. An elderly man brought fresh vegetables from his garden, then took home a radio someone had repaired and contributed. What amazed me wasn't just the generosity, but the lack of exploitation. In 6 months of operation, Rita said they'd had minimal problems with people taking advantage. When you remove profit motive and create community accountability, people generally act with integrity. We've distributed thousands of items, fed hundreds of families, and haven't spent a single dollar. It proves that another economy is possible. The hub also served as a skill-sharing space. Notice boards advertised free services. I'll teach guitar if you teach me cooking. Need help moving? I have a truck. Free haircuts, walk-ins welcome. People were rebuilding the social safety nets that used to exist before everything became commodified. One participant, a man named David who'd recently lost his job, told me the hub had saved him. I was ashamed to ask for help, too proud to accept charity. But this isn't charity, it's community. I took what I needed when I had nothing, and now that I'm working again, I give back. It's beautiful. As I left with a donated book I genuinely needed, I realized this door hadn't just opened onto a physical space, but onto a different way of imagining human relationships. What if we really could move beyond money, beyond competition, beyond the idea that everything has a price? But the next door would challenge my understanding even further, because what I found there existed in the space between reality and dreams, in a place where art and technology created something entirely new. The fifth door was the hardest to find, located in a former factory building that had been partially converted to artist lofts. The entrance required climbing 3 flights of exterior stairs, navigating a rooftop, and finding a door that only appeared locked. The handle turned if you pulled rather than pushed, a simple trick that kept out the merely curious. Inside, I entered darkness. Complete, total darkness. For a moment, panic set in. Had I made a mistake? Then, slowly, pinpoints of light appeared, like stars emerging at dusk. The space revealed itself gradually. A massive open room, maybe 5,000 square feet, with black walls, ceiling, and floor. But the darkness wasn't empty. It was alive with projected light, sound, and something I couldn't quite identify at first. Scent. This was an immersive dream studio, a collective of artists using cutting-edge projection mapping, spatial audio, and sensory technology to create experiences that blurred the line between reality and imagination. As I walked forward, the environment responded to my movement. Flowers bloomed under my feet, their petals scattering with each step. The scent of jasmine filled the air. Music seemed to emanate from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. The lead artist, Kenji, explained their mission. Museums put art on walls, behind barriers. We want art you can enter, art that surrounds you, art that responds to you. We're creating dreams you can walk through while awake. Their installation changed monthly, each one exploring different themes, emotions, and sensory experiences. The current installation, called Memory Palace, attempted to recreate the experience of remembering childhood. As I moved through the space, projections showed fragments of generic childhood memories, playgrounds, birthday cakes, summer skies. But the genius was in the personalization. The technology tracked where I paused, what I looked at, and began adapting the experience to my reactions, creating a feedback loop between viewer and art. I spent 2 hours in that space, losing all sense of time. At one point I sat down, and the entire room transformed into a night sky, constellations wheeling overhead while a child's laughter echoed softly. Another moment found me standing in a rainstorm that I could see and hear but not feel, watching water stream down invisible walls. The studio operated on a reservation system, limiting visitors to maintain intimacy and impact. Funding came from grants and donations, never from charging admission. "The moment we charge," Kenji said, "we become entertainment instead of art, a product instead of experience." We refuse that compromise. The Dream Studio represented the cutting edge of what hidden spaces could be, not just alternatives to mainstream society, but laboratories for entirely new forms of human experience. As I emerged back into harsh reality, the ordinary world felt flat, diminished, like returning from vacation to find your home smaller than you remembered. But the next door took me somewhere even more unexpected, to a place that challenged not just how we experience reality, but how we understand human connection itself. The sixth door was wooden, ancient, set into the wall of what appeared to be a monastery or old church in a neighborhood that had long since been commercialized. A small brass plaque read simply, "Silence, respect required." The door opened easily and I stepped into an anteroom where a sign instructed visitors to remove shoes, silence phones, and speak only in whispers. Beyond the inner door lay something I hadn't expected, a space dedicated entirely to silence. Not meditation, not prayer, not any specific spiritual practice, just silence itself as a practice and refuge. The main room was large, with high ceilings and warm wood floors. Natural light filtered through translucent windows. Comfortable cushions were scattered throughout, and about 30 people sat in various postures, some with eyes closed, others staring peacefully ahead, all in complete silence. A guide, communicating through written notes and gestures, explained that the silent sanctuary operated 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. No talking allowed anywhere in the space. No music, no guided meditation, no instruction. Just silence for anyone who needed it. The only rule, respect others' silence as you would your own. I learned that in our hyper-connected, constantly noisy modern world, true silence has become almost impossible to find. Even in our homes, we're surrounded by appliance hums, traffic noise, and the eternal presence of screens demanding attention. The sanctuary offered something radical: permission to disconnect, to sit with yourself, to experience the rare luxury of not being stimulated. People came for different reasons. One man used it as an alternative to therapy, sitting with difficult emotions in silence rather than talking them out. A woman treated it as a daily refuge from her high-stress job, spending lunch hours in silence to reset her nervous system. A teenager came to escape the overwhelming social pressure of constant connectivity. The founder, Brother Michael, though he insisted he wasn't religious, just formal, created the sanctuary after experiencing severe burnout. I realized I couldn't hear my own thoughts anymore. The world was too loud, externally and internally. I needed silence, but there was nowhere to find it for free, without spiritual requirements, without rules or rituals. So I created this space. What struck me most was how difficult silence actually was. Within 10 minutes, my mind was racing, my body fidgeting, every small sound magnified. But after 30 minutes, something shifted. The silence became comfortable, almost nourishing. My thoughts slowed, my breathing deepened, and I understood why people returned here daily. As I left, returning to the noisy street, I felt like I'd surfaced from deep water. The silent sanctuary proved that sometimes the most radical thing a space can offer is nothing at all. No entertainment, no productivity, no purpose except simply being. In a world that demands constant performance, silence itself becomes revolutionary. But there was one more door, one final revelation, and what lay behind it would challenge everything I thought I understood about community, purpose, and what it means to create meaning in an increasingly meaningless world. The seventh and final door was clear glass, modern, part of a new building that hadn't officially opened yet. Getting access required calling in every favor I'd accumulated over months of investigation. What I found inside was the most ambitious hidden space I'd encountered, an archive dedicated not to the past but to the future. The Future Archive was a massive, climate-controlled space filled with thousands of sealed containers, each one containing a message, prediction, artwork, or artifact created by ordinary people and addressed to future generations. The concept was simple but profound. What do you want people 100 years from now to know about this moment in history? The curator, Dr. Lisa Zhang, explained. Official archives preserve what institutions think matters. Government documents, famous art, important events. But what about regular people? What about their hopes, fears, dreams, and daily realities? Those stories disappear. We're preserving them intentionally, creating a time capsule of ordinary life. Contributors could submit anything: written letters, videos, photographs, objects with personal significance. The archive guaranteed storage for at least 100 years, with plans to transfer everything to permanent institutional preservation after that. Submissions were confidential, opened only by algorithms checking for prohibited content, then sealed until the designated opening date. I read some of the submission descriptions: a letter to my great-great-grandchild, explaining why we failed to stop climate change, a video of my neighborhood before gentrification destroyed it, my daily routine hour by hour because I think future people won't understand how we lived, an apology to whoever inherits the world we're leaving. What moved me most was the profound hope embedded in the project. In an age of cynicism and despair, these contributors believed the future existed, believed someone would care about their messages, believed that preserving their moment mattered. It was an act of faith in humanity's continuation. The archive also hosted monthly gatherings where contributors could discuss their submissions anonymously, processing their feelings about the future, their legacies, their fears and hopes. Dr. Zhang said, "Creating something for the future forces you to think about what actually matters. It's therapeutic, clarifying, and humbling." As I stood in that space, surrounded by thousands of sealed messages to people not yet born, I understood that all 7 doors I'd opened shared something essential. They were acts of resistance against meaninglessness, against the idea that life is only what appears on the surface, against the belief that we're powerless to create alternatives. These hidden spaces proved that extraordinary possibilities exist everywhere, waiting behind doors we've learned not to see. They proved that communities of passionate people can create magic with limited resources. They proved that meaning isn't given to us, it's made by us, behind doors we choose to open. So there you have it. 7 doors, 7 hidden worlds, 7 proofs that your city contains more wonder than you ever imagined. An urban forest growing underground, a cathedral dedicated to music, an illegal classroom preserving education, a gift economy proving capitalism isn't inevitable, a dream studio reimagining art, a silent sanctuary offering nothing but peace, and an archive preserving ordinary life for future generations. But here's the truth I discovered. These 7 are just the beginning. Every city contains hundreds, maybe thousands of hidden spaces like these. They exist in your neighborhood, behind doors you pass every day. The question is, will you start looking for them? These spaces survive because people choose to create them, maintain them, and protect them. They're fragile, always at risk of discovery, shutdown, or simply fading away when their communities move on. But they persist because humans need them. We need alternatives to the mainstream, refuges from capitalism, spaces for experimentation, and communities that share our values. My journey through these doors changed how I see everything. I can't walk down a street anymore without wondering what's behind every unmarked entrance. I've started noticing the subtle signs. People entering buildings that seem abandoned, sounds emanating from unexpected places, communities gathering around doors with no obvious purpose. And now I'm passing this awareness to you. Look for the doors. Notice the patterns. Ask questions. Build relationships with people who seem to know more than they're saying. Be respectful. Be patient. And understand that access to hidden spaces is earned through trust and shared values. Most importantly, don't just find these spaces, create them. If your city lacks something you need, build it. Find others who share your vision. Locate an unused space. Start small, start secret, start now. The hidden world exists because people like you decided that what mainstream society offered wasn't enough. Before you go, I need you to do 3 things. First, comment below with your city name if you haven't already. Let's build a global network of urban explorers seeking hidden doors. Second, share this video with someone who needs to know that magic still exists in the world. And third, the most important, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because this is just the beginning of our journey together. I'm continuing to investigate, continuing to find doors, continuing to document the extraordinary spaces hiding in plain sight. Next month, I'm exploring hidden spaces in 3 more cities. And the month after that, I'm investigating underground communities that have existed for over 50 years. If you subscribe, you'll join a community of people who refuse to accept that the surface is all there is. You'll get access to behind-the-scenes content, location hints for finding hidden spaces in your own city, and most importantly, you'll become part of a movement proving that another world isn't just possible, it already exists. Behind doors, we've learned to open. The mainstream world wants you to believe that everything worth seeing is obvious, advertised, and available for purchase. These 7 doors proved that's a lie. The best things in life are hidden, earned through curiosity and courage, and absolutely free to anyone willing to look. So go forth, find your doors, open them, and when you discover something extraordinary, protect it, nurture it, and share it carefully with others who will appreciate what you've found. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Subscribe now, because our exploration of hidden spaces is just beginning, and trust me, what comes next will blow your mind even more than what you've seen today. The doors are waiting. The question is, are you ready to open them?